Good evening, everybody. Let's talk biomes for a second. It's going to take me forever to earn enough money to do the things I want to do here, and these missions are getting real repetitive right around the KSP, so I'm going to do more of like a highlights reel of what I've been doing lately and update that as interesting things come along. But to make sense of that, because it's going to go kind of quickly, I'm going to show you the different biomes I'll be traveling to here. So real quick, we've got out at sea here a little ways is Kerbal's water. Just inland from that, still in the water, is Kerbal's shores. The shores end somewhere along here. Hope you can see my mouse. The KSC biome is pretty much like this right here. Then you have, starting over here, you have Kerbal's grasslands. Then further away you're going to have highlands, probably more over in here, and then mountains over here. Over the horizon there are deserts. Now layered on top of all that, you've got the KSC like I mentioned before. You have grounds that you can get to from the ground, or areas you can get to from the ground. Those would be the landing strip, the launch pad, the crawlway, which won't highlight here, the spaceplane hangar area, what do you call this, the mission control building, I believe, the vehicle assembly building, the research facility, the astronaut complex, and the administration facility. So these are all areas where you can land and collect science or drive to and collect science. Now on top of all those, most of these buildings have their own biomes and you can collect science from. You can do that by either landing on the roof or by sticking, if you're on a wheeled vehicle, sticking the nose of your vehicle right up against the building, kind of pressing against it, starting the brakes, and then doing your science. So there's the VAB main building, this building here, I can't remember its name, mission control building, spaceplane hangar building. There should be one here. Now some of this may have changed with .90. I know these all existed, or even more existed with .25. The astronaut building, this building here. Now in .25 there are a whole bunch of them in here. There's maybe as many as 10. I don't know if new biomes have been assigned to all of these small buildings around here. I did land, you'll see in one of my videos, I landed on this one here, and it's buggy. It's clearly, you don't even register as being landed. That's got to be an oversight. And then also the tracking center main building, and then each of these, there we go, each of these radar dishes is its own biome as these appear around the screen too. So there they all are, and let's get on to what I've been flying over the last couple of days. Okay, first up tonight is the tracking building, or tracking center I should say, not the building itself. Now I'm looking like I could come down right here on the border, so I'm going to use a little bit of thrust and try and work my way over a little bit. So eventually the parachute drags you back the way you came and you gotta stop thrusting. And uh-oh. Yeah, I meant to do that. Okay, that should be good enough. Alright, next up is the research center. And this one I tried to use the same technique. Looks like I'm going to land square on the building right now. Look at this, it doesn't even register as landed. This has to be a bug. So, cut the parachute. Even this is kind of worthless because it thinks I'm flying still. So I decided to reset those, and maybe I'll just take off and land on the ground over there. But I can't get out to repack my parachute, so here we go. Time to take a little bit of a risk, see if I can do it without the parachute. Shouldn't be too hard, really, but these things have a habit of just going really bad. Kerbal's gravity is very unforgiving. So very careful here. Most important thing is to negate all of your vertical or all of your horizontal velocity. So the retrograde pointed straight up at the sky on the nav ball means I'm coming straight down. I kind of chickened out there because it's going a little too fast. Let's try this again. And there we go. And you've seen all this before. Let's skip ahead to the next one. Ah yes, I'm going to spend some science here. So I'm trying to push my space program in the direction of aircraft. I'm looking at those surveys, and those are tailor-made for aircraft, and aircraft are going to land right back probably on the runway and get 100% return. So it's a very cheap way of fulfilling missions. Okay, so here we are. This would be my attempt at the mission control building. And you can see it's just a little bit overshot the border there, where the road is. So I'm going to zip that parachute back up and just move the lander on over there. By the way, this is easier to do if you, on landing, you realize what you have to do. You just rotate your craft so that you're looking at the door like this. That way you just press, I think it's W to get it going in the right direction. You don't have to try to manage multiple key presses and throttle. There we go. Didn't even need to shoot that time. Alright, next up. This would be the astronaut complex. Last tech upgrade got me a thermometer, which you can see on the side of the craft there next to the glue, and also the ladder. Okay, time to do something a little bit different. I picked up a contract to do a survey over one of the islands near the KSP. Those structural pieces and landing gear are kind of expensive. We're going to be landing in the water. We don't need those at all. And this reveals a problem with this craft, in that if I try to launch it without those, my center of lift is so far forward that the craft will not fly. So I'm placing these small fins on here. These are from the Sounding Rockets mod. And what I'm doing is I'm trying to get that blue ball, the center of lift, down below the center of mass, the big yellow ball. And I want it to be to work not just in forward flight, but also I plan on coming down on the, with the engine down, so it can't flip over when I'm trying to descend back towards the water. Okay, here we go. This is a fairly high altitude survey, so I have to go up a little bit here before tipping over. And it's that island on the right there. I think it's the farthest island. Now, I did do a practice run on this because some things have changed, and one thing I noticed was that there's a safe chute deployment speed now, and if you exceed it at any time, if you see the warning to deploy or shoot, your chute will just rip right off the craft, and you will die. Or if you deploy it and then you exceed the warning, then the chute will rip off and you will just die. So what I decided to do was just really hold back on deploying the chute until I'm down in the thick atmosphere and the rocket slows down considerably. So it was important to have a very lightweight rocket that will slow down well, which means I'm being very careful with the throttle right now. I forgot to mention, I think I did 2 contracts on this. I think I did a high altitude mission first, or high altitude contract, and the survey at once, which is great. Very lucrative run here. Yeah, there they are. Okay, time for re-entry, or descent rather, since we're not in space. Now there is a trick where you can pump fuel around from tank to tank to alter the trim of the craft to keep that center of mass down now as low as possible, as low towards the engine. But the game does burn your fuel from the tank up high down to the tank towards the engine, so that means that your fuel is already down there. Okay, there we go. Chute deployment unsafe. So I just have to wait. Decelerating at 2 Gs right now. You can see the speed dropping rapidly. And I'm still 10,000 meters up. There's no reason to get anxious. It's a little bit of a struggle at this point to keep the nose towards the retrograde marker on the nav ball. Craft does want to flip over. Okay, I think, yep, that's about as long as I can take it. So I deployed the chute at, it's hard to read, about 280 meters per second, which is safe. You see how much that rocket wants to flip over and go nose down. It's really pulling on that chute. Okay, there's full deployment. Now you hit the water, you gotta hit the water nice and slow. So you have to save some fuel for this. Also, you don't want a very tall rocket. Tall rockets will tip over, your rocket will tip over and splash. And if it's too tall, then the top of the rocket hits with enough speed that the rocket will just break apart. So here we go, lower my speed, yeah, down to about 3. There we go, falls over, and there we are. And I actually pushed it over in the direction of, so that the door was up. Good chance to do some science, do the crew report while you're in the capsule. Then you get out, you take the data, you place the data back in, along with your EVA report. So now everything is in the stored slot in the capsule. Now you do another crew report while you're landed in the water. So now I have 2 crew reports in the capsule. Now you can EVA, go ahead and go for a swim, get another EVA report and a surface sample. Now you can climb back in without fear of overriding the data you have already on board, and recover. Pretty good, 71 science. That will unlock a couple things. So high on my priority list are wheels, so that I can do ground craft even if they're landing gear, and also aircraft. And to be honest, that runway is so bumpy, I think I'm prioritizing the aircraft parts first. Alright, this is what we're going to do in the next episode. I already have it pretty much ready to go. I'll probably edit that one tomorrow and then upload it, comment it, and upload it tomorrow night. This is the first aircraft. As you can see, it's kind of an unorthodox takeoff there. And this aircraft definitely has some quirks. It's not the sleek and easy to fly vehicle I'm used to. This thing is pretty sketchy. Anyway, until next time.